This is an all-new flex nib. It's a steel nib and it's dirt cheap and surprisingly good. I first spotted this nib on AliExpress a few weeks ago. It's from Majohn, a popular if somewhat controversial Chinese pen maker. You can get it on a Majohn pen, or you can buy the whole nib unit separately, or just buy the nibs themselves, which is what I did. I already have a few Majohn pens, so I popped it into a C4. That's a translucent Japanese-style inky-dome eyedropper, clearly inspired by vintage Bane pens. This new flex nib is about the same size as Majohn's regular number 6 steel nib, but the slit is much longer. It also seems to be slightly thinner. I figured a C4 would be an ideal pen for this flex nib, as it's got more generous ink flow than a cartridge converter pen, and you really need that with a flex nib. I filled it up with Pilot Blue Black as usual. That's my go-to test ink. If a pen or nib can't handle it, then something's off. So how does it write? Well, there is definitely a bit of bounce and tines spread out as you press down, so there is definitely some decent line variation to be had. Upstrokes are fine, but not hairline thin. As always with flex nibs, you also need a good feed to keep up. With these standard plastic Majohn feeds, I need to go slowly or it starts railroading. An ebonite feed might be a better option. Majohn's flex nib isn't as soft or springy as something like Leonardo's 14K flex, but that's to be expected of a steel nib. Still, it doesn't take that much pressure to get the tines to move. It's definitely softer than, say, a Canwrite flex. By the way, the paper I'm using here is meringue dough sheet from Yamamoto paper. While the ink doesn't look quite as amazing as on, say, Graphilo or Iroful, this paper has got this pleasant texture and is just so satisfying to write on. Personally, I care more about what the paper feels to write on than how ink looks, unless I'm swatching inks for the gram. I fitted my other Majohn nib on an Asvine V200. That works fine as well, although I found it a bit more prone to railroading when I pressed down. The nib seems to be properly fitted though, with no gaps above the feed. It could be due to my ink choice here. I went with Mita Club's Kocha ink, which by the way comes in this gorgeous Irokidiko glass bottle. Now I am terrible at flex writing, as you've seen already, and I usually just write block letters. But I still like these new Majohn nibs. Even if you're not trying to do Spencerian, that slight bounce when you write is just pleasant. It's a cushion feel. So far I've only seen these nibs on AliExpress, and as usual with new products, prices are all over the place. But you can already find listings below $10 and it will likely go down further. I'll put some links below. I've been following Majohn, aka Moonman, ever since Frank Underwater blogged about the M1 9 years ago. And I think this might just be their most interesting product so far. This is an affordable flex nib that actually works, and I think it will sell like hotcakes. If I could change one thing, I would make them even finer, like a Japanese EF. And if Majohn isn't already selling these with an ebonite feed, I hope they do soon. So what do you think? Is this going to be a hit? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this first look at Majohn's new steel nibs, please consider subscribing and giving the video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.